Bam LA, episode 18. Shout out to those 1A guys. We won't talk about neighborhoods, but we're here. Thank the Lord, we're back. I am Eddie G.
I'm Major.
DJ Seloe.
So episode 18, we are here live and direct. And today we have a special entrepreneur who is an inspiring woman all over the world. She handles hers, making things, happen. DJ Seloe.
So let us know. Let our audience know who you are, Rosie.
Thank you for having me today. My name is Rosie. I am a mother of 4, grandmother to 2, and starting my own business. I do have a business aside of this, which is landscaping, and I handle that. But this business right here just helps me give back to the community, and we're just doing that one shirt at a time, and that's what I'm here for, to tell you guys about my movement. So thank you for having me here.
So it's a movement, huh?
I call it a movement, yeah.
This is a movement right here.
So
we're all inspiring.
Yeah, what is the movement?
Well, basically what each shirt represents is a different era in my life, right? So I use the sales of the shirt to give back to the community. Like for that shirt that you have right here, I use that to, with the sales, I bought 100 jackets.
Imperfection or imperfect?
Yeah, learning to love yourself.
Okay.
So we bought 100 jackets for underprivileged kids.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, so with each shirt, I try to take $500 from my sales and donate it to something.
Nice.
So, but it just keeps growing and growing, and it's amazing what you can do with just being able to help one person.
Yeah.
And it just satisfies me so much to do that, and yeah.
So thank you for being here, Rosie.
Thank you.
I'm gonna bring up on how I met Rosie and how we know and came to be very good friends.
Yes.
Usually when we start our episodes, we usually toast, but I know you're not a drinker.
No.
So,
Oh, she's not
Yeah.
gonna live with us, sir?
Yeah, but I'll still toast with you guys.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna toast to episode 18.
Yeah.
18, big 1-8.
Thank you
Oh,
for
yeah,
being
that's
here.
right, huh?
18.
Yeah.
So,
you know her?
yes,
Yeah, I just got an
so-
email and I'm like, hey, we're having Rosie. I'm like,
Yeah,
who's Rosie?
Rosie.
Yeah, who's Rosie?
So then you looked her up and like, oh shit, Rosie's coming.
Yeah.
So I used to do vending machines. You guys remember my vending machines? So I get laid off. I go back to school, and now I'm applying at different spots.
Okay.
Looking for work because the EDD wasn't cutting it. I was getting $228 every 2 weeks.
That's 30% of what you were getting paid. So
Exactly.
That's because you did it too early. Had you waited, you would have got
So,
that
You
600.
were balling, dog.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, and it's funny that that's my birthday, February 28, 228. So I was like, fuck, if I would have been born in December, maybe I would have gotten a little bit more, right? Like 1200.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and the Marina store in LA on the west side was the one I used to shop. I used to always shop at that store.
Marina store.
Yeah. I was like, fuck, well, let me apply and see what, maybe
Okay.
something can happen.
Oh, this is Home Depot.
Yeah, the Home Depot.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
HD. We just say HD. And so my
The Orange
sister,
Box store.
so my sister was dating, Raul. Shout out to Raul. At the time, they were just dating, and she was like, well, his sister knows somebody that works for HD. And I was like, whoa, well, let her know. So, and it's funny that her name is Rosie, Raul's sister. Shout out to Rosie. And so then Rosie,
Sent me your
talks to her,
information.
gives, and she was like, cool, send them the info. And so I went back to school after 20 years later, went and got my diploma, and it was funny because I had issues with my English test, and it's funny that I brought this up to her, that I prayed to God. I was like, please help me pass this English test, and if you help me out, I will cut my hair. I used to have my hair really long at the time.
Yeah, you went in there with braids.
Yeah, and
was
it's
twisted
funny
up.
because Rosie was
No, he went in there with like 2 braids. Like this.
two
Yeah,
braids,
yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
like native style. And Carmen, shout out to Carmen, was the one I cut my hair. My brother Mario and her was the last people that saw me with my long hair. And sure enough, a week later, I get my result. I'm like, fuck. And I showed my brother. My brother's like, hey, you said it. You gotta cut it.
Okay.
So I get, Carmen cuts my hair. And then, I put it in a Ziploc bag and I donated to Locks of Love, and then she was asking me after that, how do you know if they got it? So they send you like a pamphlet, saying, thank you for your donation. It's a picture. Yeah. Like a certificate. Yeah. Saying, like the little girl that wears, I was like, oh shit. So she sees me in the interview. She's like, oh, my hair. She's probably looking at me like, what the?
No, not at all. I didn't even judge you by your looks. I was just like, oh, you need a job? We got a job.
You got it. And then, so she tells me, well, you start on the 21st.
Oh, she hired you on the spot. Huh?
Yeah. Well, it was June 20th. And she tells me, you start tomorrow, June 21st.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, I go, my ceremony is on the 21st. I can't. She's like, don't worry about it. Come the next day, the 22nd. So ceremony, I was telling her how I think my mom was more, he was there too, was more happy about me cutting my hair than my actual diploma. Yeah. Because when I shot my cap off, my sister Lily was like, I think she got more excited, about seeing that your hair was short again.
I'll take pictures just close up of his face.
Yeah, she hated my hair. She hated the braids. She just didn't.
She just hated the look.
Yeah. And so the next day I go to work and Rosie's like, I'm
like, what happened to your hair?
So thanks
but
to
it's
her.
funny that Ruth never saw you with your long hair.
No, but
because she just said,
they were just talking amongst themselves. They're like, if I would have met him with that long hair, no way.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be a bridesmaid for their wedding, supposedly, but we'll see when that happens.
Yeah. So
no pressure, Eddie.
Right. And it's funny. I used to, because the wife used to work there too. Well, she still does. Mm-hmm. And I used to always go into her office with like, oh man, I really like her. Really, she used to tell me, it's like, go for it.
Yeah, and then she would come in. She's like, what do I do? I'm like, just go for it. Just go for it. So I'm gonna start charging you guys.
I know, right? So thanks to her, I have a beautiful partner, and
now I'm sitting here talking to you.
And now we're here talking about business.
Now he's interviewing me, and I interviewed him.
That's funny.
Oh shit! Cheers to that. Cheers to that.
I went full circle.
Yeah.
So, what does Hefa stand for?
So a lot of people think that you have to have your own business. So it's not necessarily that. It's just being, owning your own journey, your own life, your own goals. For example, myself, I was sexually abused as a little girl. So I used food to cope. And that's what got me to 320 pounds until I, got therapy and stuff like that. But I never hated myself for that. I just didn't like how I suppressed my feelings. And now I could talk about it. Like before I wouldn't talk about it or anything like that. So it's just owning your own journey and not letting people dictate how your life is going to be. To me, that's what a Hefa is. Right now, like I was telling Eddie, I could identify with Hefa state of mind because right now the world is changing. Today I have a plan for something. Tomorrow it might change because of Corona.
So right now this is your chapter, Hefa state of mind.
That's the chapter I'm on right now. Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
And let's be clear, Hefa is boss lady, right?
Yes, boss.
Not like a Hefa, you Hefa.
Yeah,
not the H-E-F-F.
No, not that. Not a heifer. No.
Hefa's the lady boss.
Yeah, so it's a lady boss, but also también in the Hispanic culture it means mom, and it's a form of respect.
Jefecita.
Yeah, my jefecita. Making Hefa moves, the one that I'm wearing right now, is inspired by my mom. My dad had his own addictions, so he would constantly lose his job all the time. So my mom had to figure out how to make ends meet. She would work 3 jobs. We always had frijoles on the table. It doesn't matter if it was just frijoles and huevos, but we had something on the table. Right. My mom, she made it happen. So this one was in honor of her. And at the time, she was so depressed because immigration kept denying her application, and she had spent 50 years without seeing her siblings. And I was like, Mom, I'm going to get you there. Don't worry, I'm going to get you there. And she was so depressed. And I don't know if Ruth owns any of the hair wraps that?
Yeah,
My
she
mom-
does.
Okay,
She does.
so that started originally because I lost my hair. I got alopecia because of stress, because of personal situations. And so I started losing my hair. So my mom would tell me,
And that's because of stress.
alopecia, yeah, comes out of stress. It grew back, but
And
I didn't
that's
have
the loss of hair.
a lot like a baby's butt. Like I had no hair for a year and a half, and I started losing it back here. So I started wearing my hair wraps because I was.
This is one of the hair wraps?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was so self-conscious about it. So I didn't even know until my son's like, "You're missing hair," and I was like, "What?" He's like, "You're missing hair," and I went and I was like, "Oh
And
my
you didn't
God."
notice it in the restaurant?
No,
No,
because I would always have my hair up.
Okay.
Just well, I mean, because I'm not one to be like, have my hair done. I would just put it up, mom style, okay? Mom life. And so when my mom was going through her depression, she started making some hair wraps. Oh, here, put them on. And then I was like, wait a minute. Let me buy some material so you can make some, and I'll sell them for you, and you can make some extra money. And that's how I got her to get out of bed, to just find something to do. And that's how the hair wrap started. Now I have hair though. You could. It grew back.
You know what's crazy is that when my parents got divorced, that was my way of not thinking about it. Was eating.
Yeah.
Because at 11, 10, 12 years old, I was about 2 something.
Yeah.
Like my weight was like,
Yeah, we all find
yeah.
find different drugs. Me, for example, my molester lived right next door, and because of my dad's addiction, he didn't realize what was happening. So I didn't tell what happened until 3 months after. But my molester would come to my house and he would bribe me with food. Oh, I bought you chips. He would call me Rosita. He's like, Rosita, I bought, and I wouldn't want to take it. And my dad would be like, no seas majadera, take it. But he didn't know, until one day my mom, she was trying to change me to go to school, and she went just a simple touch, and I just jumped up, and she's like, what's wrong? And I started dressing like a boy. I started cutting my hair because I was like, well, I'm not. If I look like a boy, nobody's
Maybe
gonna.
he won't touch me.
Yeah. And I would wear like my brother's clothes, and I just remember her telling me, whatever happened, it's not your fault. And I just literally felt like, oh my God, it's not my fault. And I just started telling her. And my brother, my older brother, I remember that day he picked me up from school, and he's like, get on the handlebars. And I'm like, where's mom?
Somebody's orders up.
Pick it up. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I heard it, but I was like, let me ignore it. So he picked me up, and I said, where's mom? He's like, just get on the handlebars. And when we got home, he had slashed, my brother was only like 14 at the time. He had slashed the guy's tires. And
so your brother knew? Yeah,
he knew. My mom tried to press charges, but by that time, the guy had, he'd left to Mexico and stuff. But, so he was like, nobody's ever going to hurt you. So, it felt good that somebody stuck up for me, but I still carried on because in, Mexican culture, we don't, or Hispanic culture, we don't believe in therapy. Oh, no, estás loca. Nothing's wrong with you. And we've made it a norm to kind of cover it up and not speak. But yeah, so it just became normal not to talk about it. Not even my family never mentioned it. Nothing. It was just like it never happened.
Almost like if you don't say nothing, it didn't really happen.
Yeah.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah. Kind of like that. So it became normal not to speak about it. So of course I don't remember a lot of my childhood. It was 9. Yeah.
No. It's ridiculous.
Thank you for
now I could talk about it.
We
now
have a lot of female viewers, and they have daughters. So
yeah, speak up. Get some help, and
it's not your fault.
No, it's not. It's not.
Never your fault.
I think that's the number one reason why girls don't say anything, because they think they did something wrong.
Yeah, because I was like, well, maybe if I wasn't wearing shorts that day, or maybe it's not your fault. He was 21. He knew better, But I guess throughout the years, I just kind of suppressed it, and I just let it go, and I turned to food, and I had a lot of anger issues. I would want to fight you in a minute.
You get in a fight easily, huh? Yeah.
But because I felt like I need to attack you before you attack me.
Right.
Because I was so used to being taken
down
advantage
first.
of. Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to go down. You would be mad at me when I would go into your office?
No.
Like, I don't want to talk to you.
No. Home Depot was actually a very wonderful job. I loved helping people in the last position that I was in. But so I went through my whole life just suppressing a lot of stuff, and I remember like I tried to commit suicide 3 times. And the first thing they tell you at the doctor is, oh, here's medicine. Take it. Take it.
That's
Antidepressants.
That's
Here
it.
you go.
Yeah.
Here you go.
And I took it because I was like, well, this is going to help me. But by like maybe 5 or 6, I was like dozing off. I was like, oh, I don't feel good. You could cuss me out and I'd be like, oh, okay. Everything's, but I was like, this is not a life. This is not life. And I just, I remember going to church and I was like, God, I can't do this anymore. Like, what is it? What is it? And I just remember forgiving myself for having those suicide thoughts, forgiving myself for putting myself through all that hurt because of somebody else. And I forgave him too, because I was like, I already gave him enough power. And
we don't forgive him here at BAMLA.
Well, forgiveness is for myself. It's not necessarily
it's
for
to
him.
heal you.
Yeah, basically, it's to heal me. And like I said, when I started this shirt, it was because originally it was because, like I was telling him, I had a fallout with a group of friends.
So that's what started it. Like
that's what started it.
I'm gonna do it.
The shirt.
Yeah.
The page actually started when I lost all my weight, and I had a lot of clothes with tags on there, and it didn't fit. So I was like, what do I do? And I was like, if you go to a yard sale, te regatean.
Yeah.
$3,
$3.
$4,
Yeah,
and I was like, nah, this dress
It's
was
warm.
$30. So I went on my page and I said, well, let me go ahead and post these. And I started selling. I had $20 in my account. I'm so I was raised that you don't ask a man. I could cuss. Yeah, I could cuss.
Yeah.
You don't ask.
Feel free.
You don't ask.
I could bleep it out later.
Okay. You don't ask a man for. Because my mom, like I said, my mom was like, I could do it without a man, And so when I had to quit my job because of family reasons, that was one of the things that me and my husband would bump heads, because he's like, this is our business, you don't, and I was like, no, I don't like asking for money. I like making my own money. I like paying my own bills. And so when I started doing this, I was like, oh, I have a little extra cash for this. I have a little extra cash for that. And I had $20 in my account, and I remember they kept charging that monthly fee, which was like $16. And I was like, well, I'm going to have $4 left, But I was like, I'm not going to close it. And then I started selling the clothes, and I had like $100 and this and that. So then I remember I printed 25 shirts. That's what I started with. And it was originally because people were asking me, how do you love yourself? Because I have lost so much weight, and a lot of women suffer from body dysmorphia. You know what that is? Okay, I've never suffered from that. And I said, well, because I never.
Can you?
Body dysmorphia is basically I lost all this weight, and then I still see myself at 320 pounds, and I'm still self-conscious about it, and I'm not accepting myself as I am right now.
Right.
And so that's what I never suffered from that, because even though I was big, I still loved myself, if that makes sense, right? I was like, estoy gordinflona, but I still love myself. I still have a lot to offer. So I never suffered with that. And I said, well, people would DM me and say, how do you get over it? I'm like, you just look in the mirror and be like, you're a bad bitch. I love myself.
There you go.
What do you love about yourself? And they couldn't answer. I said, well, what don't you like? Oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. The list was long. And I said, no, you got to replace that.
It has to be the opposite.
Yeah. I said, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable, but every day get up and tell yourself something different. And then you're going to start believing it,
Yeah, and it's funny when we were working together, like she would talk to me, have cool conversations, like especially about my girl. But then when she left and I ran into her again after she left, like her aura, as you would say, and I would talk to her like, what? She goes, fuck, dude, I've never been so happy. I've never been so, stress free. Would you say like that you were just?
Well, no, but
not really stressed.
Not stress free. Okay, so when it came to the weight situation, my thing was that my body felt tired,
exhausted from carrying all that weight.
Oh my god,
yeah.
like you can't even imagine. Like I started. Remember, I took you guys hiking to Kennecan.
Yeah.
A mile would take me 30 minutes, and I would have to go home and ice my knees because it literally felt like you would jam like a screwdriver on my kneecaps. And I would be like, oh man, I got a night, but I didn't stop. And I originally lost 100 pounds by myself. Wow. Of course, I changed my eating habits. I did it the old-fashioned way. I go like this because, any way that you do to change your life is a good way. If you want to have surgery, go ahead.
Whatever works.
Yeah, just don't do crack or anything like that. Let's stay away from that. Yeah.
You hit her here first.
Yeah.
Don't
faster.
do crack.
It's faster, but
Yeah. No, none of that. But I had lost 100 on my own, and because of family situation, I went back to coping with eating. But I was working out 6 days a week. 6 days a week, going hard, but you can't outwork a bad diet.
Right.
And so I told my husband, oh man, I said, should I do it? Should I not? But then I was like, what are people gonna say? And then I would tell myself, well, you don't give a fuck about what people say. Just do it. But it took me 2 years because I kept telling myself, all right, I kept losing, gaining the same amount of weight. And I said, I'm not doing anything to my joints. I'm not helping my heart. Just go for it. And I had surgery 12/29/2017. Because I was like, I'm literally trying to start the new year, new me, right?
Yeah.
I went to Mexico and I got it done because I couldn't afford it
It's cheaper
here.
there.
Now let the viewers know what's the surgery. That
I
you
had the
had.
gastric sleeve, not the gastric bypass, the gastric sleeve.
What's the difference?
I think the gastric bypass they literally
Cut it, right?
cut your stomach and connect one of your your intestines straight to your stomach so you get full right away. And then the gastric sleeve, they literally cut like a sleeve.
Make it.
Yeah, because
smaller,
you're
right?
and make your stomach smaller.
Were you looking into that, Seloe?
No.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I went to Mexico and I researched and I went to the facilities. I just didn't say, oh, that's the doctor.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I went, I spoke to them. I had a list, 20 something.
And he's famous, right? Like I've
Dr.
seen.
Cervantes?
I've seen a
Well,
couple
Dr.
videos
a lot
of
of-
him.
A lot of my friends had surgery. No
There's a lot of
complications.
good doctors over there
Yes,
now. There's a lot of doctors that work in Mexico and come over here and work as well.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
No, he's a really good doctor, but there was 3 that I interviewed, and one of them had a 10-year experience. He had his license and everything, because you have to have patriotic license. You can be a surgeon, but you have to have.
He's in TJ?
Yeah, he's in TJ.
Okay.
But I didn't like him because he
Juan
was,
Pablo Cervantes?
No, Luis Cervantes.
Luis?
Yeah.
There we go.
So he basically said, I'm going to give you a special if you book with me today. And I was like,
What the fuck? Like,
yeah,
it's Fat
I
Burger?
was like, no. But I was like, but if you're a good doctor.
Today's a coupon day?
Yeah. But I was like, if you're a good doctor, you don't need to give me a special, And then I said, well, can I see your facility?
He needed the money. That's what it was.
He didn't let me inside. And then he said, well, nobody's going to be able to be with you. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And then I went to Luis Cervantes. He let me talk to his patients. He showed me the operating room.
Nothing to hide.
Nothing. I sat and I asked him all these questions, the pros, the cons. I said, can somebody be with me? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Just let me know how many people. That way I know which room to accommodate. I was like, oh, okay, and not a problem. And I could still message him right now, and he'll be like, okay, what are the problems? I did that 3 years ago, but I still haven't stopped working out. I gained a little bit of the weight back. I gained 20 pounds back, but in 3 years. I mean, I don't beat myself up, to be honest with you, because a lot of women like, oh my God, I don't beat myself up. I'm not 320 anymore, And I said I'm still working out. I'm still trying to make some conscious decisions and stuff. No me puedo comer toda una pizza, but obviously I could eat more than
tacos,
Yeah, obviously I could eat more. But what that helped me do is because I no longer had food to cope with, it forced me to tap into my feelings. So I had to get therapy. I scheduled therapy before I scheduled my surgery. And I remember going to therapy. I was like, what is she like? Why are we even doing this, right? And I went, and the first thing she says, well, why are you here? I just started crying. I couldn't stop crying. And I'm like, why am I here? Like, why am I really here? And I just remember telling her, like, I felt guilty because of this. I felt guilty because of that. I felt guilty for so many things. And she's like, do you feel like you don't deserve it? And I was like, I don't know. Like, yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of bad things that have happened in my life, but there's so many good things that have happened. And sometimes I feel like, me personally, I want my family to be part of that. Mm-hmm. Like me and at the time, I was the only one that had the home, like owned a home, had my own business. And I was like, well, why can't my brother have that? Why can't my sister have that? And I was trying to tell my therapist, like, I feel like guilty because of that. Like, if I'm doing good, they need to be doing good. And she's like, no, not everybody's on the same journey. Own your journey,
Yeah.
Own it. She's like, maybe you're doing good because later on you're going to help them. You don't know that. But at the time I was like, because when I bought my house,
life isn't fair.
I felt that way. But she's like, you're you know, you just want everybody to feel the same way.
What's crazy about you, what you said about, I think that's what my mother would be, you know, because she would tell me, you know, I'm probably like 10 years old when they divorced, and she would apologize to me like, "Ay, mijo, you know, I'm sorry," you know, because it almost seemed like it was her fault that they didn't make it, you know, their relationship was no good. In regards that he was the one that was being a dirtbag, you know. Yeah. Like we're good with my pops, you know. Shout out to Mr. G. I call him Mr. G.
Mr. G.
But you know, she would be like, and she would cry to me like, because I was hating her, you know, because I'm like, well, we're the one that's leaving. You're leaving him, you know. Like I remember, he would come over the house and he would tell me, he's like, "Hijo, dile tu mami que," you know. So she would turn around and be like, "Hi," you know, and apologize to me. You know, at the time I would be like, I was hating it. Like, believe me, when it happened, I hated her for that. You know, it's like, "Oh, you're leaving my dad. You're leaving my dad." You know, but
the guilt it could be heavy. It could be heavier than the 320 pounds that I was carrying. For me personally, what affected me is being cariñosa with my kids. I'm not.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4.
Oh wow.
I had 4 by the time I was 25.
Yeah. That's a lot, right?
Yes.
That's such a young
with
age.
the same man.
That's also a lot to say.
No, my husband honestly was the first guy I ever met that made me feel safe.
Comfortable.
And I was like, this is him. This is it. This is the guy. And I got pregnant at 17. Originally, when women go through sexual abuse, you either become promiscuous or you become like, this is the person I want to make it entregar, you know. And to me, that was my husband. I got pregnant at 17. By the time I was 21, I had.
How'd you meet him? Can we talk about that?
Yeah. Seloe bajé mi amiga. Sorry, girl.
So, how did the name come up? Like, how did you come up with this name, and what made you say, this is what I'm gonna go with,
okay,
like this brand? Or
originally my page was called Viva la Frida. I forgot what the name was.
Vida
called.
la Frida.
Viva la vida Frida and things. Viva la vida. Yeah, okay, let me say it over. Viva la vida Frida and things. Okay, just live your life. I'm a collector of Frida Kahlo. I love Frida Kahlo. But now the name is JEFAS Run the World. So I tried to trademark making Hefa moves. And there's somebody out there
already
who
have
has
that.
So
you trademark Hefas Run the World.
Hefas Run the World.
I saw that.
But okay, so what ended up happening is when I didn't have the money to trademark it. Okay, so I
how much was it? It was like 150, 250?
No, it's like 500.
It was 500.
Wow.
So I said I either have money for merch or I have money to trademark, right?
You trademark.
Yeah. So when I had the money, the name was gone. And I remember I was crying, and I would call my friends. I was like, I'm so pissed, man. I lost it. And because it's in honor of my mom, I'm like, I need to make it sure that it carries on. So again, because I've lost weight, I've done more things now. So I started training for a half marathon. And I remember that I did 5 miles without stopping. And it was like, of course I started crying. I was like, oh my God.
On your own, not an actual marathon. You did it on your own.
Well, because of COVID, they canceled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
what was the marathon?
It was the Nike, the half marathon.
The half marathon.
Yeah, 13.1 miles. So I was training for that.
13. So the full is like 26?
Yeah, the full one is 26.2.
The LA marathon.
Yeah.
The one in March?
Yeah. I will do it one day. I'm telling you guys right here. I will do it.
Hey, we'll be right there. Yeah. Mark her word.
But I was training for that. And so I was telling my best friend, I said, dude, it feels amazing to be able to run 5 miles without stopping. She's like, I want to run. And then I was like, JEFAS Run the World. I said, why don't we do a run club? She's like, all right, cool. So then she's like, but trademark it right now. And I called my friend who does my design, and I said, hey, I want to design this. I want to keep the same logo from Hefa because it's my mom's original, and then we'll add Run the World. And she kept throwing me the design. I said, nope. It has to, like, my designs have to, like, that's it. That's what it is, right? And she's like, man, you're so hard to work with. I'm like, but it has to. Like, she already knows. Yeah. But, you know, I pay her. It's work, you know. But she's like, I know you're going to send me the design back. So finally, my sister's the one that designed Run the World. And I was like, perfect, because that's my sister. You know, everybody's collabing in this. And it started with a run club, and now we meet every Wednesday, and we turned it into a wellness club because not everybody could actually run, so we just walk and talk. We talk about life, you know, what you're doing.
Hey, that could be a podcast in itself. Everybody picks up one of those nifty little microphones you have right there.
That's why I got the microphone.
Yeah, you guys run, you guys walk and talk, walk and talk.
Yeah. And so I trademarked Jefas around the world, but from that I told her, I said, I feel like we need to do something with it. And originally what I wanted to do is help women start their own business. But because of COVID, I wanted to be authentic. I don't want everybody asking me, well, I want to start a job and I want to start this, and I'm like, I didn't want to put it out there because I knew people were people are not gonna be genuine about it.
Right. So
I said, okay, well, let me start looking for people. But people just started falling into my pathway. Like in September, I donated they were raising money for diapers and for women that lost their jobs because of COVID, didn't have diapers, didn't have baby wipes. And I went to a clothing swap and I helped. And I said, well, do you do this all the time? She's like, yeah, but my neighbor's tripping. I need to find a different location. And she didn't.
Because they were doing it out of their home?
Yeah, so the neighbors were upset because the traffic. Yeah, that's
Karens,
what she said.
Right?
And I remember,
that's crazy.
well,
Or in Spanish,
she was a Karina. She was a Karina.
Damn. Even worse.
So I told her, I said, don't worry about it. You'll find a way. So when she told me she found a location, I said, well, here's my budget for September. Here's my $500. She's like, what? I said, well, I set a budget. Whether I sell or I don't sell, I always keep a budget. And I said, I know those 500 are not for anything but for donations. And then I remember one time my mom's diabetic and was severely anemic at that time. And my sister's friend came over. My sister came from Arizona, and we couldn't figure out what was wrong with my mom. I mean, we were taking my mom out, and my mom was sitting down, and she's just like dozing off. And her paperwork fell out, and her friend's like, oh, let me see it. And she started reading it, and she's like, oh, have her tested for this, have her tested for this. And I'm like, how do you know this? She's like, I'm going to school for nursing, but because of COVID, I'm not going to take my next semester because my husband lost his job. And I was like, no, I got you. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to pay for your books. She's like, you're really going to pay for my books? I'm like, yeah, just like you helped me, you're going to help so many other people. I said, how much are your books? I think she said it was like $250 or something.
That's
like
amazing.
That.
That's
You know, so it's, to people, you could just see it's just a shirt, but to me, it's not. To me, it's giving you hope, because who's to say that later on down the line, somebody else doesn't have the money to pay for her services.
You got to pay it forward.
You pay it forward. You know, this month we're doing, I opened it up last month to emails, and I said, it's going to be anonymous. I created an email for Jefas around the world. And I said, submit a family that needs help, and we're giving out $100 gift cards for Thanksgiving. You know,
and this is on the
on my page,
on your page on Instagram.
Yeah, on my page.
Okay.
And I opened it up and I closed it November 1st. I gave them a whole month. But what tripped me out about it is that people are scared or embarrassed to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't get so. There was a video of an altercation that happened last year, right? And I have a clip of it. It's not an actual fight, but it's, you know. And I said, hey, I posted it on my story, so I got like over 1,000 views, right?
Just on that altercation?
Just on that little video that I posted, but I posted it after I posted that video, I said, okay, hey, since you came on my page to see my video, why don't you repost this post, which was asking, you know, to submit for a family. And I said, why do we always focus on the negative and not the positive? We give so much energy. And then I said, I'm not.
And that's sad. That's where.
Right.
You know,
but I did it with
generation,
that. I did it.
Is that right now?
That's where it's at.
Yeah, I did it as a hook. You know. Yeah. And then I posted. I said, we give so much attention to the negative and not the positive. Like we're here trying to help families. And the only reason you guys came on my stories, because I posted just like a screenshot on my page. And I said, oh, it's on my stories. Yeah. And my stories grew. Oh, wow. And I said, why is it that when I'm trying to offer help? Yeah, that's what I was like, you know, and I was on them like, you know, I love being a chismosa. Who doesn't? You know, but come on, if I'm trying to offer help.
If you could post the negative, you could post the positive.
If you have time to watch my story, you have time to repost it. That's how I posted it, you know. My goal was 13 families. I got 10 families. You know, like I said, it's like pulling teeth. Afterwards, I had people say, I want to help a family. Send me an application. And I don't deny it. I said, hey, you want to help out of the kindness of your heart? You're going to help this family. This family might get on their feet later on and help somebody else. So it's like a domino effect, you know, that we're doing. For December, I don't know what I'm going to do because, like I said, November was a little I was like, do I really want to go through this? So I'm thinking maybe I'm just gonna pop up at markets and just pay for somebody's groceries, you know?
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was buying the gift cards for this time, and the guy was in front of me. I was carrying some stuff, and I was trying to get gift cards. He says, "Go in front of me," and I said, "Oh, thank you," you know. And the cashier was like, "Oh, you guys gotta be 6 feet apart." I was like, "All right, cool, don't worry," you know. And I don't know how the conversation came up about homelessness. He's like, yeah, I used to be homeless. He goes, but now I participate in, you know, my time, and you know, it's so hard. And we're like, wow, you know, I'm over here buying gift cards for other families. He's over here happy to let me go in front of him. So you never know who you're gonna meet. You never know.
Yeah. So where could people find you? Where could our viewers find you? What platforms are you on?
I'm mostly on Instagram. I don't have a website.
What's the Instagram?
It's Jefas Run the World. So
Hefa underscore.
Jefas, yeah, underscore Run the World underscore. Yeah.
Are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Are you on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook, but not under Jefas. I just have my personal page
Just
for family.
okay.
Just for family. But everything I do it through there. I don't have a website. Like I said, I run 2 businesses, and so I can only dedicate time to Instagram. It's so much easier than having a website right now for myself. I'm trying to get my daughters on board to help me. I said, look, you guys help me, you know.
Run at least the other business, and then you could take over.
I'm
working
everybody
on that.
can get the merch through Instagram?
Yes, everything's through there. I literally upload the pictures, and I update the quantities as soon as they claim it. I give them 24 hours. You know, I take Zelle, Cash App, and Venmo. I don't do PayPal anymore because, you know, sometimes people try to do
not
claims.
Venmo.
Venmo,
yeah.
Venmo,
Don't go and try to buy a liquor.
No, I said Venmo. Yeah, so everything's on Instagram. I try to come up with like different style. I have sweats. I have hoodies. I have a lot of things coming, but I don't try to go overboard.
I like that.
Relentless as fuck is from my personal page. Again, it's just not giving up. You know, whatever you want to do.
Oh, okay.
Huh? What did you say?
I thought you meant it's not giving up. It keeps selling.
Oh, no. Remember, just not giving up, you know?
Yeah, just not giving up.
Every shirt has a meaning to it.
Yeah, like I said, right now I identify with that one. This one has been a favorite. It's one of the new ones. I always say you can't do one without the other, you know? People ask me to do like a YouTube channel. A lot of people don't know that I'm dyslexic and I have ADHD, so I can't focus on certain things. Like, I would be like, I'd rather pay somebody to help me. You know, so that's why one of the reasons I don't have a website, because I'm like, I just don't know how to create that stuff. If what's working for me is working, para que le cambio, you know, right now. Later on, if it grows bigger, it's grown bigger, but I'm okay with the way things are going right now, you know? Like, I have mugs coming. I have, and I'm not a feminist, but I do look for women-owned businesses because I try to support them. So the girl who's doing my mugs, and she's from Riverside, and I was telling her, I said, hey, you know, let me know how much I owe you. She's like, no, you seem like a very legit person. Like, you know what you want. She goes, because you just told me I want this many. This is what I want. These are my designs. She goes, other people will be like, no, you know. I was like, nah, because I know what I want and I know what sells, you know, and I know I'm not just saying just buy my shirt. No, there's a reason behind my shirt. Like with
every shirt has a different meaning.
Yeah.
So
but that's pretty much. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so how do you want the women that buy these shirts to feel as they're wearing it?
Honestly, first of all, I want them to own who they are. Not just the shirt, you know, and then I want them to know that with the purchase of their shirt, they did change a life.
Okay. You
know, not only that, and not to talk about my merch, but I'm very particular of what I put out there. Like when I first started doing my shirts, I would wash my shirts 3 or 4 times before I put them out. You know, like I said, I was supposed to be slowing down this month because I'm trying to start the new year, having everything organized for my other business. Like I said, it's me and my husband, and I'm going for my contractor's license. I'm going to school. I'm going to
landscaping contract.
Yeah, okay. Because of the language barrier, my husband doesn't speak English very well, so I took it.
That's like what, 18 months, right, or 4 years to get your contractor's license?
No,
you have like experience.
You have to have 4 years experience.
Yeah.
We've been in the business for 25 years.
Yeah, so that's easily.
Yeah, but I'm not. I know the laws because of Home Depot. That was so easy. I passed my law exam on the first try. Okay.
It's funny you bring them up because They teach you a lot.
They do, but let me tell you something.
A lot.
When I first started going to school, because it's a man's career, whatever you want to call it, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to sit next to me in class. I was the only girl there.
Nobody wanted to cheat for you.
Nobody wanted to sit there next to me when people started coming in. You know, there was a space. They would go sit in the corner, and the teacher's like, "Just go sit next to her." When they realized that I was, you know, understanding everything and how to come up with the math. And
That's
stuff,
when the questions started coming in.
How did you get that?
How'd you get that?
Yeah, and I would tell my husband, like, I would come home and I was like, somebody wants to sit next to me. He's like, it's okay, they're gonna warm up to you, because he went and he couldn't pass.
Okay.
And so I when I had scheduled the law test,
why couldn't he pass?
because of he has
Language
to take it in
barrier.
English.
Oh, okay.
He tried his heart out, but you know, I told him, if you can't, I'll go. And I passed him my first time, but
Mándale saludos a tu.
Te quiero mucho, viejo.
He's a good guy.
No,
Awesome
amazing.
guy. Sweet.
Amazing.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I've been to a couple of their parties, and it's like like if he saw me like this,
Half a beer.
Yeah,
Like,
take it.
he's-
Yeah, he's
like,
just
yeah.
very overprotective,
Yeah.
especially with what I'm doing now. He says, "How do you know that you're helping? How do you know they're not trying to take advantage?" I said, "What I do from my heart. Once I give it to you, whatever you do with it, that's up to you.
Yeah.
I did my part, you know." And now he's more on board. I was telling him about today. He's like, "Go, you know, ponte bonita, ponte tu merch." And, you know, and I was like,
Well,
"This
that's how my parents were. You know,
Yeah.
because I pretty much gave them the blueprint of what we wanted to do.
yeah,
And you know, old school parents are like, "Ay, como, right?" Like
Yeah.
to them, you have to. Which I'm not saying it's not now to
Yeah.
bust your ass to make that money, but she would be like, "Ay, cómo vas a hacer dinero así de fácil hablando?" I was like, "Mama,"
Yeah.
I go, "No, sí se hace," you know.
Yeah.
Like, but you still like right now we're busting our ass to make this happen, you know.
yeah. You guys are gonna get far. This is amazing.
And yeah, so they were like, "Oh no," and then my pop's like, you know, from Sinaloa, pues, ¿y qué chingados es eso? You know, like no, you know, Dios quiera, it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
you know. So
No, it's gonna happen. I mean, you just gotta put it out there in the universe. Like me, for example, one of the things that I had to, when I lost all the weight, you start getting
you gonna
attention.
try those?
Oh,
I think we should have.
Dude,
Rosie
this
right
with
here
the
trying.
Paqui challenge.
usually, you know,
These are always here, and you know, our guests always like.
they're
Have to
just
try
picking
it,
on
you
me because
know?
I'm
we
a
have to do
woman.
the challenge, the Paqui challenge. So Rosie says she can handle some.
I didn't say I could handle it. I said que no me rapo. All right.
So as two guests, as two hosts,
Yeah.
we're gonna take one with her. So
Yeah.
AJ, grab a chip.
Are we gonna like toast? Or
No.
keep it, are we keeping it 6 feet apart? Oh, that was a
Hold
little.
on, you
that
didn't
was a
even wait
little-
for it.
That was a little chip.
Let me get another. That was a little tip.
Why do I get a big chip?
I just reached
I
and
got
grabbed
double. I
one.
got two.
No,
I
but
got
that
two
was a
and
little
three.
chip.
I got three.
Look, his hands are shaking. You've had them before.
DJ
I had
Solo
him
scared.
All right, ready?
Hold on.
One.
Hold on. DJ Solo got two, so I gotta get some.
There you go. Look at
Okay, vamos a ver.
There you go.
Para arriba, para abajo, para adentro. It's not that bad, and I don't do spicy.
No,
It hasn't hit me yet.
you gotta eat a couple.
It lingers.
It's not bad. I thought.
The powder gets me. But if you eat a couple,
I mean,
Because
I feel
we're
but-
fat asses, bro. So we inhale. we inhale. Yeah.
it's not that bad. I thought it was gonna be really bad. Oh wait,
Yeah,
hold
but-
on.
try another one.
Hold on. It's starting to hit me.
Yeah, it hits a little bit late. But if you have like 5, yeah, you feel it.
Okay, it's getting better.
We have no milk here.
Yeah.
You need the milk? There's no milk
I'm
here.
getting the call from the mister.
Uh-oh.
It's okay.
So, what advice would you give to all the young females out there, all the young entrepreneur
Hold on, I
females
might need some more water.
starting out?
And that was one chip.
Yeah.
That was one.
Honestly, sometimes we get so concentrated on having a plan and mastering that plan before we take the step. Sometimes it's just going for it. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Honestly, like certain things, I'm like, I didn't know how to get my license. I didn't know how to get my wholesale license.
You got that now?
Yes, I do. I have it. A lot of things that I noticed being a woman is that we can be catty as fuck. We don't want to see other women grow. I would ask.
Well, I think that's even towards men.
That's
right?
that's in any business.
I'm talking about when women say, "Oh, women empowerment," but when you go and you hit them up in their DMs, I'd be like, "Hey, how do you do this? Where did you get your license? Oh, well, just go here." But and I didn't know that it was free. You guys go to City Hall, apply for it. It's free. Then you go to Culver City. It's free to get your seller's permit. Mm-hmm. Totally free. Really? Yeah, it's free. I didn't know that, and I was asking the girl some information. No me quiso decir nada. But when I came out with my shirt, she's like, "Hey, where you get your shirts from?" And I told her I have nothing to lose.
So where do you get your shirts from?
We'll talk about that later.
Well, let me tell you, you need a wholesale license. Do you have a wholesale? Okay. I'll tell you after the show. So it's just going for it. Just going for it. Don't second guess yourself.
God damn, those are hot.
Don't listen. Don't listen to the naysayers. I had a lot of people, try to put me down. Like, you're gonna try to come out with a shirt.
You get that all the time, man.
This is one of the most popular shirts, the imperfect one. So yeah, just go for it. Don't second guess yourself, and you're gonna make mistakes. You're definitely gonna make mistakes. You're gonna just probably slow you down, but those are stepping stones. Those are stepping stones to get to where you need to go. Failures are not always bad.
Right.
They're learning experience. That's how I see them now.
Learn.
But that's because I remember when we were about to start, and not only do I love his comedy, but I follow his podcast, which is Felipe Esparza. And I shot him a message. I shot him a message. I was like, "Hey, we're about to start our podcast. You got any advice?" Plain and simple, what you just said. What did I say? Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it, fool. Just do it.
That was Esparza, right? Felipe.
That's all he wrote.
Yeah.
And I was like, but and I remember I called him right away. It's like, fuck, he
responded.
He responded. He's like, just do it.
Yeah, that's all. You gotta go for it.
Yeah.
You gotta
go
for it.
And I didn't need nothing else. Like, I didn't trip because he didn't really hey, Because I remember we were doing our music. Like other MCs was just like, no, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Because
you get a lot of haters. The thing is, not nobody, because I'm not like that, but there's a lot of cats or a lot of people that don't want you to exceed over them, right? Mm-hmm. So, but I tell people, I'm like, you can't hate the person that's gonna put more into it than you.
Yeah.
Because if you guys are doing the same thing and you put more ganas into it, obviously you're going to be more successful at it than he is. And he can't just be like, well, I'm here and I'm not going to try to help you try to get you better than me. Yeah. But you should congratulate.
Damn, these Paqui chips, man. They're hitting.
Not only that, if I'm too worried about what's on his plate, I miss my shot.
Yeah.
I always tell girls, first of all, you got to figure out what your purpose is. Like, he might be trying to sell shirts because he has to pay his bills. You got to feed your family. I'm trying to sell shirts because I'm trying to change other, aspects of my life, my purpose, Your purpose is totally different from mine. Whatever drives you. What drives me drives me.
So, but you think there's a lot of help between the Latinos? Or should we not dog them?
No, of course there is. Hay de todo. It's just there's some people that want a quick come up and they see you as an opportunity, and there are people that are genuinely want to help you. I have a lot of people that support my movement, and I'm thankful to them. And I have people that will literally buy 6 shirts off like one transaction. I'm like, hey, you know what? Don't worry, I got you.
How much are the shirts?
25. I'm very reasonable with my pricing. 25 shipped.
Okay.
Of course, sometimes I have people like, well, I'll go pick it up. All right, $3 less because I don't have to ship it, you know. But I'm pretty reasonable. I don't like to be expensive because I want to get my merch out there. I want to be able to flip my investment and use it for, for my charity. I don't necessarily have a specific charity or I don't do nonprofit. Like they're like, why don't you open a nonprofit? To be honest, because I do what the fuck I want to do with my money and how I do it, you know. If somebody comes and says I need help, well, here's the help, you know. And I think with the nonprofit, you have to follow certain guidelines. And
that's pretty much us with our merch, like 20, 25, you know. And people are like, oh, está bien caro. I go, wait, you go buy fucking, you know, shoes for 100 and something, you know. Like,
I started at 21 and it's gradually gone up because shirts went up, ink went up, and now I have it customized.
Everything has gone up since COVID.
Like now it's, my tag is customized. If you guys look at my site,
I see.
it's customized.
Before it used to be like something from Nicaragua or Honduras or, you know, right?
Yeah, when it was a...
Bangladesh.
When it was a tag.
Yeah, it was Bangladesh. Bangladesh, is it called? Yeah. So yeah, everything's a little bit, it went up. It won't go past 25 unless it's like, we also do tie-dye shirts. So tie-dyes obviously go up a little bit more. Hoodies pretty much stay the same, but I've never had a complaint about like, hey, your work is a piece of crap, you know?
Oh, the wifey loves them.
Yeah, I know. I get a text.
She rocks them all the time.
You know, and like I said, I like to test them out. I wash them before I present them and stuff. But the guy who does my stuff, he's at first we would bump heads, you know, and okay, I got you. And now he's like, when are you coming? I got your stuff. You know,
but not only shirts, but you do, because you gave the wifey a coffee mug with, you know.
Okay, so that is my daughter. I got my daughters into starting their own little side hustle. I like to say, or side business. They do
hustle.
It's a hustle.
Yeah, no, well, it is, hustle. Right? Because I tell them, you know, your mom, I didn't raise huevonas. You know, I had one of them who was going through postpartum depression. I'm like, nah, se me levanta and we gotta hustle. You know?
She has a kid now?
Yeah, I have 2 grandchildren, which I love to say they were born on the same day by different daughters.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. Wow. It was crazy because I spent 72 hours without sleeping.
How many years apart?
My daughters are a year and 10 months apart.
Your grandchildren.
They were born on the same day.
Same year?
Same year, same day. So
they were.
Yeah,
it's like they planned it, right?
But to me, it honestly, it was like a gift from God, because I was telling you guys that to me, it's so very hard to be affectionate to my kids. It still is, because of what happened to me as a child. Right. So to be able to have my grandchildren, a boy and a girl, I was like, wow, it's like God saying, here's an opportunity to do it over.
Right.
You know, my job is not to raise them. My job is
to
you
baby
them.
Your grandchildren.
I don't baby my grandchildren, but if I'm upset and I look at them, it's like, oh, nothing's wrong.
Happy again.
Everything's happy.
Makes her happy.
What's funny, you bring that up, and my parents with my kids.
Yeah.
You know, I bring them over, and my brother Mario and my sisters Lily and Esme be like, you guys never did that to us, you know, because they, especially Pops. Yeah. Pops is 6'2", 6'3".
My dad's
he's huge,
big dude.
Yeah.
My Pops is big, like from Sinaloa, and he sees my boys, and so my siblings are like,
my dad's the same way, dog. Like, this fool knows my dad. My dad don't play. But with my son, oh man,
my husband is straight Mexicano, right? And so my 19-year-old twin was the first one to tell us she was pregnant. And I'm very like, you got to tell your daddy. I'm not telling you daddy.
That's all on you.
And she was like, are you going to beat my ass? I'm like, for what? You surpassed me. I got pregnant at 17, you know? I said, you're 19. You're an adult. So she sat down with her dad. She's like, Dad, I'm pregnant. My husband's like, no eres la primera ni la última. Don't worry, right? A week later, my oldest one was like, Mom. And I said, please don't tell me you're pregnant. She's like, Mom, I'm pregnant. They're like 3 weeks apart.
Maybe they were on a double date.
They were like 3 weeks apart, right? So I said, you gotta tell your daddy. But it hits different because she's the firstborn.
She's the firstborn. Yeah,
that's his baby. Oh my God, he was depressed for 2 weeks. I couldn't get him.
That's his baby.
I don't want to talk about it. Esas se pusieron de acuerdo, and I was like,
they timed it,
right? Not the same guy, right?
So what ended up happening is that my 19-year-old had to get induced. She was 41 weeks, right? Yeah. So then all my kids went to go visit her, right? They take off, and then around midnight, my youngest calls me. She's like, Mom, Jeanette is bleeding. I said, well, call Dad and tell her to bring her, you know? She gets up to the 4th floor, which is the maternity ward. Her water bag breaks, right? And the nurse is like, wait a minute, I already have an Espinosa here, right? And then my daughter's like, yeah, it's my sister. She's like, yeah. She's like, no, that's my sister. She's like, no way. I said, that's my daughter. She's like, you've been here since yesterday. I said, I know. She's like, all right, let me put you guys in the same rooms next to each other. So ahí me tienes back and forth for 72 hours. Now, here's a story that I haven't told a lot of people is that my husband works with some celebrities, right, in our landscaping business. And this situation, we're not really allowed to say who it is. He saved her life. He saved her life, right? And I remember I had like a breakdown. 72 hours I didn't sleep. I get home to shower just to go back. And my mom's like, you got an envelope from FedEx. I was like, oh my God. And I looked at it and I was like, it looked like somebody was suing us, right? And I was like, it was suing us, right? Yeah.
With the letterhead and everything.
Yeah, it was a FedEx sealed envelope and everything. And I look at it and it says, on behalf of such and such, we want to give you this, for saving her life. And I look and it's a check. And I'm thinking it's $1,500. And I call my husband like, this is one check. He's like, yeah. And I said, wait a minute. This is nice.
It's another zero.
That's $15,000.
She gave us $15,000.
Damn.
On the day that my babies were born, we got 15. And I said, estos niños vienen con, you know how they say con el pan, right? And my husband's like, what do we do? I said, we're blowing it. I said, we're blowing it. This is not, I go, this is for the family. So we went, we blew it on my mom, on his mom. We went to Mexico. It was in April when they were born. They don't celebrate Easter, right?
Yeah.
So he lives in a very small town. I said, hey, Easter egg hunt. I remember I loaded
in that candy. Small town.
Yes.
Oh, wow. What's the name of the town?
Moyagua, Zacatecas.
Guayaba?
No, Moyagua.
Moyagua.
Shout out to Zacatecas.
Shout out to my but he's one of 16. My husband. So you can imagine how big the family is, right?
Woo, it's huge.
So I had to get a whole bunch of huevos, right? And so I hid it everywhere in the property. And I told them to go inside. I said, they're like, what are we going to do? I was like, we're going to go Easter egg hunting. What is that? Yeah. But I didn't tell them there was money in there. So I think we put like $500 in there.
In each egg?
Huh?
In each egg? Or,
No.
Or just
within all the eggs.
Yeah, and lo cambiamos en dinero mexicano.
And then
we put $100 bill.
That was a lot of eggs.
Yeah.
So the gold egg would have a $100 bill.
So, I mean, I remember que agarramos un conjunto and everything. We're just in
all out.
Because I was like, it was for, for something good, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, even out here, her
my
better
husband,
have.
Yeah.
Like he brings tamborazo, banda.
That's how it is.
He's a musician.
As a matter of fact, for your daughter's baby shower, which we attended, the shit was cracking.
And
cracking.
When they started opening the eggs, they realized there was money in there. The adults started going crazy.
They're like, we're gonna
go.
Like,
oh my God! But it was nice. It was nice. Yeah. And my grandbabies have honestly made me be more in touch with being more
down to earth.
Not down to earth, like show my affection.
Okay.
Like my daughter and I kind of bump heads. She's like, why are you so hard on us? Because I don't want you guys to be some lazy bums. Yeah. My husband only went to the 6th grade, and he had to work because
lost his ass.
And I said, look at him, how far he's gotten, and you have an education, you have the language.
You got everything.
Don't waste it.
Yeah, you have
everything. You're an American. You're a citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my grandbabies have been like one of the biggest blessings. Everybody's like, they were born on the same day. They were treated like celebrities. They were taking them pictures together. They're like, this hasn't happened in 30 years. And I'm like, oh.
But that's for all our kids, right? Nathan, AJ's kids. Like,
changes your life.
It took me to step up and be a man.
Yeah.
For my sons, my kids.
I mean, getting a job makes you cut your hair.
About fucking time.
Because it was like, fuck, get this shit together. That's my compadre. He would tell me, and when I met Ruth, and now I have my kids, my home. It's like, and what we're doing now, it's like, fuck, we're uplifting.
Yeah, and my kids have been like a really big part of this too, because at first they were like, what are you doing? And now my daughter's like, Mom, your shirts are so badass. And I'm like, hey, $20.
Rock that shit.
Yeah, you gotta pay me. You gotta pay me.
That's what does.
That's
what does. And
man.
Same thing with because when I brought it to AJ's attention, it's like, bam, LA, what does that mean? I was like, by all means, talk to me. By all means, let us know what's going on. By all means, tell me your dreams. You know,
Yeah.
by all means, open up to me and let's make this happen.
Yeah,
So.
'cause a lot of people like, I don't own a business. I'm not a mom. I'm like, it's not about that.
Yeah.
You know, you're the woman boss of your own journey. What do you want in your life?
Yeah.
What do you want? Go get it. You know, that's how I see it.
You go get
That
it.
shit.
Yeah.
Get that shit.
Go get it.
Rosie Espinosa's in the house.
Yup.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
For being
Great
here.
experience.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
You really took the challenge. You handled it with no
Yeah,
problem.
I mean,
You
I
didn't even
sweated a
trip on
little bit. I didn't shave my mustache.
It took a little bit, right?
Yeah. After I was like, oh.
But we made it happen. Episode 18.
18.
I'm Eddie G.
Yeah, so before we end it, I just want to give a quick shout out to the beats that you heard on this podcast today on episode 18 was brought to you by The Crown. Make sure you check out The Crown. His new record just dropped today. It's called The Trenches.
Okay.
It's featuring Harris McLeod and Sean.
And he shouted us out.
He shouted us out.
Okay.
Yeah. Sean.
dope.
Yeah, so it's featuring Harris McLeod, Sean Guala. It's now available on all platforms. It dropped today.
Go get that.
You could also stay updated on The Crown on his IG, which is at Caesar. That's CESAR 414. And his official website, which is Keeping It Mill, which is pretty legit. It's Keeping It Mill is spelled key. It's like keep, and then an NITMIL.com.
Oh, nice.
What's
So
up?
keepingitmill.com. Shout out to The Crown.
Shout out to the Crown. How about Rosie La Reina? Shout her out in her
Raised-
Insta,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so we got. So you can find Rosie on just IG at the moment. We got her at Hefas _run the world _
That's it.
So that's Hefas _ run the world _
That's it. That's
And
it.
thank you again
Thank
for
you.
blessing us with
That was
you
great.
being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yo, man. Everybody viewing this, hit that like or even that dislike. I see a lot of views, but no likes or dislikes or any comments. Like, hit us up with
Subscribe.
comments.
Even if you don't like us.
Hit that bell so you can know when we're coming up again. Just give us a thumbs up. It don't cost nothing. It don't just do it, man. Just give us some love.
do it.
Bam, LA, we out.
We out of this.
Hefa!
Thank you.
Hefa in the house.
Thank you.